First, that big myth is that renting is just throwing money away. Frankly, the math does not back that up, right? Your mortgage payment is not just your cost of housing. There are real sunk unrecoverable costs and opportunity costs to something like owning a home and paying a mortgage. In fact, in the first 5 years of a 6% interest rate mortgage, over 80% of the money that you pay is going to interest. That's basically 80% of that is rent that you're paying back to the bank. Then there's property taxes, which is basically rent that you're paying to the government, on top of maintenance and repairs, where the rule of thumb is 1% of the value of the property per year. And of course, insurance, and those home insurance rates are skyrocketing in a lot of places. So those are the net unrecoverable costs for ownership that we have to compare against rent. And so the 5% rule used to be the best tool for this, where it said the annual sunk cost of owning a home was about 5% of the home's value. So that used to be about 2.5% for mortgage interest, 1% for property taxes, 1% for maintenance, and 0.5% for insurance. Okay, but now on a 6% loan with 20% down, you're talking about 4.8% just for mortgage interest. For property tax, we can keep it at 1%. Maintenance, still 1%. Insurance, let's judge that at about 0.7%. So that in mind, the new rule is the 7.5% rule, or that every year you have to pay in unrecoverable costs about 7.5% of the value of the home. Okay, so let's take a $500,000 home, which is just above the US median, and just run the numbers with all of that in mind. If you have a $500,000 home times that 0.075, you're paying $37,500 per year, or about $3,100 per month. And again, those are unrecoverable. That's what you're kind of renting or paying just for access to own the home. So arguably that's the tipping point. If you can rent that $500,000 home for less than the $3,100 per month, then mathematically you should rent. If you're paying over that for rent, if you're paying $4 or $5 grand a month for access to live in a property, then at that point, mathematically, you want to buy it. Now, of course, there are other benefits to owning a home, right?